Hi everyone, my name is Janelle and this is my first YouTube video. Hey everyone, my name is Janelle and this is my first... This feels like I'm back in high school when you do the freaking morning announcements. This is what this feels like. Oh my gosh. Hi everyone, this is some... Okay. Okay, let me just read this. Hey everyone, my name is Janelle and this is my first YouTube channel. So I got on here because one, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I got the talkies, all my friends know I got the talkies, all my family members know I got the talkies, so I figured why not have the talkies for y'all, okay? So I wanted to get on here because I wanted to share my PCOS story. It's something that I'm constantly looking up on YouTube, and so I thought why not make a channel and share my journey with everyone as well. So basically when I was 19, I was away for school in Florida, and I remember having this like big pain on my left side of my abdomen, lower side, and I would like go to stretch, and every time I stretched I would have this big pain. And I remember my director at the time, she came to me and was like, hey girl, what's going on? Do you need to go to the doctors? And I thought, you know, it's just a cramp, but it was excruciating at one point. So then she asked me a few questions like, hey, well, when's the last time you had your menstrual? And I was like, girl, I have not had that. I don't know how long. It's on and off every 2 years, every year. It's whenever it comes and goes. So she was like, no, we can't have that. And we went to the doctor. So basically I got to the doctor's office and she ran all these tests on me. She figured out, she took blood tests and figured out my hormonal levels, all this stuff. And she saw my symptoms, which I will tell you more about that in a little bit. And she looked at me and she said, hey, you do have PCOS. And she shared a little bit what that meant. She said, but you also have a cyst that needs to be removed. Along with that, we recommend you remove your ovaries. I was 19 years old looking at this lady. Now I'm Dominican and Chilena, and in our families, like you won't have babies because your parents need to have grandbabies, okay? So I was like, no, not happening. And I got the cyst removed. So after that, or during that whole process, I remember looking up PCOS, seeing some symptoms that I've had, which included just being overweight and feeling and not being able to lose the weight. So I would constantly be I had a healthy diet, or I didn't eat much, but I was always overweight, and my weight always landed around my waist area, and facial hair, thinning hair, mood swings, so many things, all of that jazz. And I remember thinking like, wow, this all makes sense. Irregular menstrual periods, this all made sense. So I thought to myself, okay, I was 19, so I thought, okay, what do I have to do to get healthy? So basically, after someone tells you that you have a diagnosis that you're basically Shrek, you know, you have a moment that you're like, dang, wow, okay. But then you have your other moments, you're like, I have control over the things I put in my body, and what I do with my body as far as fitness and all that good stuff. So it's been a long journey. I'm now 28, and when I left Florida, I had a great doctor over there who she just really took her time with me every single visit. She answered every single question the best of her knowledge, and she was patient with me. And so it was such a beautiful journey, like having her and having the support system that I had there. And at that age, when you're young and your appearance matters so much, it's important to have those peoples and those factors in place. So I came back home. I was living in PA at the time. I came back home and I didn't find a doctor. It was so hard. Every doctor I met was like very rushed. I was in college. I was in my undergrad years. I became careless, and honestly it was so overwhelming that I just felt like, you know what, I just do not care anymore. So I would go on these, throughout my undergrad years, I would go on these like highs and lows as far as like, okay, I'm gonna really take care of it, or I'm just gonna let it go, because honestly I just don't have the patience for it. And that is kind of how it is with PCOS. Like, you get one symptom and you have it down packed, and as far as you're treating it and you're doing your best you can, and then another symptom comes up and you're just like, I'm done with all of this. So that's what kind of happened to me. So even when it came to my fitness, like, I would feel discouraged when I would just work so hard and not see any progress. So then again, I started looking for a doctor again. I started approaching PCOS with some whole just with like trying to do in a whole, how you say, a wholesome perspective, I guess you could say, where I was trying to heal my PCOS just naturally. So when I started doing that, it was about a few years ago that I started really getting serious about it once again. I went to a doctor, my OBGYN. I shared a little bit about my journey with her, and she wasn't really specialized in PCOS, but she recommended I take metformin, which I had taken that in Florida, and it did work for me pretty well. And I started taking that. Yeah, metformin, we could talk about all day about what metformin does. Gets you sick, makes you run to the bathroom, all of that. But I learned how to take it. So I learned the things to have with it, the things not to have with it. And if you push through those like bad weeks, it does settle down. So it worked for me. My weight was fluctuating all the time. So fast forward up until this last year. This last year, I sat down with myself. I was done with grad school, and I said, you know what? I need to focus on my body. I need to listen to my body. I need to be good to my body. I have to be gentle with my body, and I have to push through, because time is ticking. And like I said, I'm Hispanic, and I'm going to have these babies one day, okay? But so I decided that I was going to be serious about it. I completely cut out gluten. I did this like on and off, but this is probably the longest streak I've had. Maybe not the longest streak. I'm looking at my calendar. Maybe not the longest streak, but it's been pretty consistent. I cut out gluten completely, and I also try my best to cut out processed foods that are gluten-free. So when you think about the pastas, the breads, like those things, I just try to stay away from, because they're to some extent not good for you either. Now I'm speaking for myself as well, so I know for me that it's just not good for me. So cutting out the gluten, I do not take metformin now. I take some other supplements in place of that are natural, and I can share that with everyone on a different video. But I don't take prescribed meds now for my PCOS. Now I also recently just cut out chicken, red meat, any meat basically besides fish, so I'm pescatarian now. So what has that done? That has totally changed everything when it comes to my PCOS. Not only just that, but I incorporate my workouts. I did take up CrossFit about 2 years ago. I took up CrossFit, and that was just amazing. Doing heavy weight training really helps with your body, because you're building muscle, and so your body's gonna change. And again, it helped with my PCOS. It helped me lose weight. Again, I fluctuate, so the minute I'm off of it, it's like poof, everything comes back. So that can be frustrating too. And but yeah, so like I said, recently I just been very focused on being good to my body, being good to myself. I work out quite a bit, but I wouldn't say it's unrealistic. I work out about an hour a day, except for 1 day a week. And that mixed with all the things that I'm putting into my body combined, it has been like just a game changer. So some things I deal with when it comes to my PCOS. Okay, so some symptoms that I personally have when it comes to my PCOS. I have, and again, as I told you earlier in this video, when you find out you have PCOS, you're basically like, okay, so I'm Shrek. You're basically telling me I'm Shrek. And like, what? So some of these symptoms are very, you have to be very vulnerable to share these things, because and I think every woman that I've met that has PCOS and has these symptoms is like, oh my gosh, yes, it's so embarrassing, or I'm trying to do all these things to like help with this and that, and it gets so tiring, it gets so expensive. But I'm gonna share my thoughts on all that later. But anyway, so something that I dealt with again, it was the weight. So it was gaining weight easily, quickly, not being able to lose. My video turned off, my camera turned off, and I was still talking, and I probably talked for like another 5 minutes when it turned off. So I was getting into my symptoms right before it turned off. I talked a little bit about my weight, so we can like just push pause on that. And again, my fitness and my eating habits all also have helped combat some of these symptoms I'm about to share with you. So I want you to be encouraged in knowing that if you just found out you had PCOS, you have to some extent some control over what's going on in your body as far as like your hormones and stuff, because when you work out, you eat healthy, that all affects your hormones and the way your body processes food and everything else. Okay, so anyway, so I talked about the weight. Another symptom I've experienced heavily is thinning hair. So basically, the Bible says
that woman's hair is her glory.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna need some more glory up in here because my hair's a little thin. But yeah, basically my hair is just thin. People with PCOS tend to have thinning hair right up on top, and that's exactly where I have my thinning hair. I don't know what to say, but I mean, if I'm in the sun, you're gonna see my scalp. I mean, if I go to the pool, okay, scalp, okay? And honestly, this is something that does bother me like a whole lot. It's getting better though, in the sense of, like I said, when you do things to combat your symptoms, you just feel empowered and good because you feel like you have control over something you haven't had control in so long, and that will preach, okay? But yeah, so what I do is I basically just do hairstyles that make me feel great. I know my hair is curly, it looks thicker, and in the summertime my curls are out and they're popping, okay? But I also love to get extensions because I love length and I love the feeling of thickness. So right now I don't have any extensions in or anything. This is strictly my hair. This is probably the longest I let my hair get, just because, like I said, it's thin, so it weighs down, so it comes out easily. So that is something that is very frustrating. For that, I take supplements for that, and I'm going to share that, like I said, on another video, the supplements I do take for my PCOS that do help with all of that. Another symptom that I have is my acne I've had, and just the dryness of my skin, and the oiliness. Like, it's weird. It's like they coincide with one another. I'll have a big old dry patch right here. I mean, like, it's like literally like it's a dry patch. I have a dry patch right up in here, and a dry patch is like right here, and then I have the rest of my face is just so oily that I'm like literally dabbing it with a napkin if I go out or something like that. So again, I have a skin routine that I've been doing, and I literally every season I have to find a new kind of like face wash or something. I just moved to Jersey, so I don't know that it's that much of a difference, but I do think the air quality in different places are different. So I feel like with the seasons, with just with your eating, everything, everything is just up in there, you know. Another symptom I have that, this one is annoying. This one's very, facial hair. So basically, you have hair in places you don't want hair, but you don't get hair in places you need the hair, okay? So facial hair all up in here, okay? Now don't get me wrong, I'm not out here like like your daddy or something, you know, but it is something that I'm aware of, and I think with women with PCOS that struggle with that can be so overwhelming, because, you know, we portray women to be these like most beautiful, like put together things. Thank God for Lizzo, who breaks that view, okay, of like you have to be this kind of way. But no, that is definitely something that has been a struggle for me. But also, like I said, when you are cautious about what you're putting in your body, when you're working out, you have some control of slowing down what's feeding that to come through. So something I've also done with that is laser hair removal. So I know, like I said, things get expensive, but you know, it's all about, I think it's all about quality of life. If it's going to help me out in the summertime, not think twice about being in the sun, guess what? I'm out there, I'm doing it. So yeah, so I got some laser hair removal, and I could talk more about that in another video if you guys like. Just comment below if you're interested in knowing about my experience with that. And I'm trying to think, those are probably the top symptoms that I had. Now again, I had irregular menstrual periods. With my working out and with my eating right and good, my menstrual periods have become very regular. So I'm saying that because for those of you who are hoping to conceive, and I want to say I am aware that there are people with PCOS that are currently trying to conceive and they just cannot, and my heart goes out to you, because that can be overwhelming to see those light lines on your tests and not see them get darker, and it can be so my heart truly goes out to you. And I am sharing my experiences because my hope is that I just remember I just remember thinking like, I'm never going to have kids, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be able to do this. But in reality, and the truth is, maybe it might be hard, but just because it's hard doesn't mean it won't happen. Or just because it's hard doesn't mean it, it can't happen. And that is why I want to encourage those who are younger, who have PCOS and they're finding out in their teens, to really push through and get serious about your health, get serious about what you're putting in your body, get serious about what you're doing to your body, and get serious about caring for your body. But I want to say this, your mental health is so important when it comes to something like this. I think when it comes to any diagnosis, when it comes to anything health related, any hard thing that you're approaching in life, your mental health has to be something you put high on your priority list. Because if you're not taking care of your mind and your perspective towards things, then things will not come out in your favor. So when you focus on the good gets better. So and when you just have a positive mindset through it all, even though it's hard, again, it doesn't mean it's easy to have a positive mindset. It's hard sometimes. You have your moments, and that's okay to have your moments. But just I guess it's just being hopeful and knowing that, okay, like, yeah, this sucks that I'm dealing with this. It sucks that when I wet my hair I look like a man sometimes. What the heck, that sucks sometimes. But thank God that I have the opportunity or I have the resources or the support or this to be where I am today. And so yeah, I might be struggling with some symptoms, but I'm here today, I'm living today, and it's just always being thankful for the other side of things. So yes, I have PCOS, or maybe you're trying to conceive and you're not able to see that plus sign on your test, but you know what, maybe you're on this journey with someone, and so maybe being thankful for that. And again, I say all that not to be insensitive towards anything, because again, like, I have PCOS, but I'm saying that because when you are thankful about life overall, it's just something beautiful that happens, that life and God has a way of giving to those who are thankful and grateful. So anyway, I hope my PCOS story enlightened you in some kind of way, gave you some insight. I'm definitely gonna make some more videos as far as the supplements I take. If there's anything else that you're like, hey, I would love to know more about that, please comment below. Please push that subscribe button if you want to know more. Again, this is my first YouTube video, so I know there are a lot of errors and I was like stuttering and all that good stuff, but hey, if I was talking to you at a coffee shop, I would be talking to you just like this, okay? So have a great day. See you very soon.